Okay, we're doing not, this is the third time, but we're reading chapters 5, 6, 7, and 8 today. So the last time the old man gave him that bag of green magic, James was running back toward the house as fast as he could go. He would do it all in the kitchen, he told himself. If only he could get into the kitchen without Aunt Sponge and Aunt Spiker seeing him. He was terribly excited. He flew through the long grass and the stinging nettles, not caring whether he got stung or scratched on his bare knees. And in the distance, he could see Aunt Sponge and Aunt Spiker sitting in their chairs with their backs toward him. He swerved away from them so as to go around the other side of the house, but suddenly, just as he was passing underneath the old peach tree that stood in the middle of the garden, his foot slipped and he fell flat on his face in the grass. The paper bag burst open, and it hit the ground, and the thousands of tiny green things were scattered in all directions. James immediately picked himself up onto his hands and knees and started searching around for his precious treasures. But what was this? They were all sinking into the soil. He could actually see them wriggling and twisting as they burrowed their way downward into the hard earth. He went after them, and they just buried themselves into the dirt. He was scrabbling frantically in an effort to catch any that were left, but they were all too quick. Each time the tips of his fingers were about to touch them, they vanished into the earth. And soon, in the space of only a few seconds, every single one of them had gone. James felt like crying again. He would never get the magic back. Why in the world had they been so eager to go into the earth like that? There was nothing down there, nothing except the roots of the old peach tree, and a whole lot of earthworms and centipedes and insects living in the soil. But what was it that the old man had said? Whoever they meet first, be it bug, insect, animal, or tree, that will be the one who gets the full power of their magic? Good heavens, thought James. What is going to happen in that case if they do meet an earthworm or a centipede or a spider? And what if they do go into the roots of a peach tree? "Get up at once, you lazy little beast," a voice suddenly was shouting in James' ear. James glanced up and saw Aunt Spiker standing over him, grim and tall and bony, glaring at him through her steel-rimmed spectacles. "Get back over there immediately and finish chopping up those logs." Aunt Sponge, fat and pulpy as a jellyfish, came waddling up behind her sister to see what was going on. "Why don't we just lower the boy down the well in a bucket and leave him there for the night? That ought to teach him not to laze around like this." "That's a very good idea, Sponge. But let's make him finish chopping the wood first." Slowly, sadly, poor James got up off the ground and went to the woodpile. If only he hadn't slipped and fallen and dropped that precious bag. All hope of a happier life had gone completely now. Today and tomorrow and the next day and all the other days would be nothing but punishment and pain. He picked up the wood chopper and was just about to start chopping away again when he heard a shout behind him that made him stop and turn. "Sponge, Sponge! Come here at once and look at this." "At what?" It's a peach. A what? A peach. Right up there on the highest branch. Can't you see it? I think you must be mistaken, my dear. That miserable tree never has any peaches on it. There's one on it now, Sponge. You look for yourself. Why, that tree's never even had a peach blossom on it, let alone a peach. On the highest branch, you say? I can't see a thing. Well, good gracious me. There really is a peach up there. A nice big one, too, Aunt Spiker said. A beauty, a beauty. At this point, James slowly put down his chopper and turned and looked at the two women who were standing underneath the peach tree. Something is about to happen, he told himself. Something peculiar is about to happen. He hadn't the faintest idea what it might be, but he could feel it in his bones that something was going to happen. He tiptoed a little closer. The ants were not talking now. They were just standing there, staring at the peach. There was not a sound anywhere, not even a breath of wind. It looks ripe to me, Aunt Spiker said. Then why don't we eat it? We can have half each. Hey, James, come over here and climb this tree. I want you to pick that peach there on the highest branch. And don't you dare eat any of it. Your Aunt Spiker and I are going to have it. Hold everything, Aunt Spiker said. She was staring up into the branches with her mouth wide open and her eyes bulging as though she had seen a ghost. Look! Look! What's the matter? It's growling. It's growing. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. What is? The peach. You're joking. Well, look for yourself. But that's ridiculous. That's impossible. But you're right. It really is growing. It's nearly twice as big already. Well, it can't be true. It is true. It must be a miracle. Great heavens, I can actually see the thing swelling before my very eyes. The two women and the small boy stood absolutely still on the grass, underneath the tree, gazing up at this extraordinary fruit. James's little face was glowing with excitement. His eyes were big and bright as two stars. He could see the peach swelling larger and larger, as clearly as if it were a balloon being blown up. In half a minute, it was the size of a melon.